So the brand new patch for Nightreign has just dropped, and it's a pretty big one covering most of the problems that we do have. And we also got a brand new interview with some of the developers talking about the future DLC and content that's going to be coming out, which includes some brand new characters and also some new bosses that will be dropping very soon. We're going to be going over all the patch notes that does include some of the changes to multiplayer and single player as well. So all you solo players, you do have some pretty big changes here that's going to make the game a little bit easier. And yeah, we'll also have a look at some of the interviews that does include some of the DLCs that we're going to be getting. So the first thing I want to go over is just a quick section of the interview here, and one of the developers does ask, a great seg, what is the future of Nightreign? Does this include more content beyond the announced DLC? They reply basically by saying the future content, we have already announced DLC, which we are currently on the way on developing. The content for that will be focused on mainly new playable characters and new boss encounters, so please look forward to that. He does follow up by saying, and then of course beyond that we can't say definitely right now, but we will be continuing to support the game with patches and updates and according to what we've seen from the player data and the player tendencies. So sticking tight to the game and watching our balance changes that need to be made, and generally supporting the game as we have done with the previous titles. So yeah, pretty much we do already have an announced DLC that's going to include a bunch of new bosses and a bunch of new characters as well. More people are going to be playing the game, and obviously more patch notes are going to be coming out on probably every 2 weeks or every week, depending on what we actually do want changes, considering the game has only been out for about 2 to 3 days now, and really have a massive update and a bunch of patch notes that we're going to be covering in just a second. So these are the patch notes right here for 1.0.11, and basically if you just go down here, the single player mode exclusive adjustments, the effect automatic revival upon defeat, which allows revival once per night boss battle, has been added to solo expeditions. So obviously once you do die in solos, you're not just going to completely end the game here, you do have one more chance to try, which is a pretty good adjustment to solo plays. It kind of makes it a little bit easier for people that just want to play solo for challenges or whatever. And then the amount of runes gained has also been increased for solo expeditions. Next up, we do have the general balance adjustments here. Increase the number of high rarity relics that can be obtained as reward when reaching day 3 during expeditions. Increase the probability of obtaining high rarity relics from scenic flat stones purchased with small jar bazaar. If you do scroll down here, some of the bug fixes. Now there's obviously a bunch of bug fixes here. Adjusted camera behavior when activating the Guardian's ultimate art, Wing of Salvation. Fix the bug in the Duchess character skill Prestige, where the status alignments would not trigger when built up from the player's attacks. Fix a bug where some attacks of a raider with the Great Axe and Great Hammer weapon types had higher damage than intended. I actually played with the raider this morning and he did seem a little bit OP, specifically when I'm have double wielded Great Axe and a Great Hammer, which is kind of crazy actually. Fix a bug where some of those who live in death enemies would revive when defeated with the Sacred Blade skill. Fixed a bug where their bleeding status alignments would not build up when the skill Bloody Slash hit an enemy. Fix a bug where the Ghost Flame ignition attack would not occur under certain circumstances. Fix the bug where the status alignment Frostbite would not build up when the light wave released by a strong attack hit an enemy while the Moonlight Greatsword still was active. Fixed a bug where the speed of arrows fired by the Mighty Shot and Enhanced Shot skills was slower than expected. I actually did realize that when playing IRONEYE, some of these skills were a little bit slower than I would have liked, which made me kind of not really use them that much. A bug where the attack range of the magic spell Rock Sling was longer than expected when using it with a staff equipped in the left hand. Fixed a bug where the effects of reducing the maximum HP of enemies when the incantation Black Blade hit them was not activated. A bug where the passive effect successive attacks negate damage would stack when successive attacks were made while the effect was active. A bug where some passive effects were not displaying the effect of the correct values. Fixed a bug where the relic special effect Guardian became the target of the enemy aggression when the ability is activated, would not activate under certain situations. A bug where certain effects were not being applied to relics obtained for the expedition rewards or purchased from the small jar bazaar. Another bug where the items could be obtained upon completing a remembrance in the remembrance word when the scenario conditions were met, could not be obtained when changing characters and concluding the remembrance. which is actually kind of a weird one. A bug in the behavior and the specifications of certain attacks and actions of specific enemies. Fixed a bug that caused the game to become unstable under certain conditions during battles with specific enemies. This is actually going to be towards the gaping mouth enemy. It actually crashed a lot of people's PCs when it went into the second stage, so hopefully that is to do with that bug right there. A bug in the graphics rendering during battles with specific enemies, again that's probably to do with that. Fixed some incorrect information in their staff credits, fixed some text, fixed a bug where some sound effects were not playing the script correctly, and just a couple of things here that, you know, we can just kind of skip over because they're not really that big of a problem. Moving down to Steam only adjustments. Fixed a bug where some graphics were not rendering correctly when low was selected in quality settings under graphics. A bug where the climb up action sometimes failed when using a keyboard. A bug where the climb up action was difficult to perform when using a gamepad. And there we go, that is the version for Steam. In the PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S versions, regulations files can be downloaded by logging into the server. Yeah, there we go. And that is pretty much it when it comes down to the patch notes. A lot of changes here, actually a lot of bug fixes, which is kind of common when a game does come out in the first couple of days. Obviously, they don't have full testing time when it comes to the servers going up, so that's why a lot of people have been given these informations to the developers to make these changes as fast as possible. And obviously we do have them and everything has been changed, and this update is live now, obviously from about 5 hours ago, so you can go ahead and jump straight in and play a better, cleaner world in Nightreign. And that's pretty much it where we are now. There's not really been any more updates to what's coming later. It's mainly just about how things are changing in the game, and mainly the bug fixes are being changed, and a little bit, you know, some interview info coming out, but not really anything major. The only thing that's probably the biggest thing there is talking about the future DLCs and characters, because there are some bosses that are not in the game yet. There's probably some more characters that we have waiting to see, and yeah, let me down in the comments what characters that you guys would like to see. And that's pretty much it for this video.